We're at the Eye in Florida here for the nightcap on your Super Saturday here on the Virtual Football Network. SFL football continues here. The first block delivered in more ways than one. This one projecting to as well. Florida trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Indianapolis trying to play spoiler and get to a 4-win record for the 4th straight season. Seems like that is a duck that they need to break in seasons going forward. Some positives to take out of that campaign nonetheless. Alongside him this evening, pretty last minute, and I think he's squirming already because he's not used to being in this position at all. He's used to just bouncing off of Gerald and talking about rubbish for 2.5 quarters. But he's with me as an analyst this evening. You know him from the Friday night games. Mike Daggs. Mike, anything to provide me of this game that you've studied for maybe 10 minutes?
Jacob, listen, I studied it for maybe 10 minutes, but I got plenty to say. How much time do I have to talk? Listen, Florida, they're number 2 in the East Division. That's rare for them to be this late in the season to be number 2. Indianapolis, not having quite the season they had hoped for, obviously, at 3-7, but looking to try to stop Florida's possibility of, look, they still got a shot at the playoff, but they need to win out, and it starts here tonight.
Indianapolis will return. Or not return this kickoff, I should say. Florida have never not managed to get the 5 wins. They've avoided that again this season, hitting the 5-5 threshold. But it's the worst record that they've posted since season 20, which was the end of the All-Pro football era. Since then, they've eclipsed double-digit win totals and then 9-3 in the previous campaign. They're trying to get back into the playoff hunt again here tonight. Indianapolis to start with possession. It's a handoff to the outside to Chris Grant Jr. On a 2-yard gain. Daniel Wright there on the stop early on.
Yeah, Chris Grant Jr., as Gerald always likes to say, go Revs, former Louisiana Revolution running back. Bell cow here for Indianapolis. We'll see what he is able to do for them tonight. Leads the team in carries and yards.
It's a 1-2 tandem with Andrew Gibson, who's in the backfield now running a route. Long throw is caught by the receiver downfield, and Rob Hunt, who is up at the 40. And that's a way to get the passing attack going for Ethan Flowers.
Yeah, Flowers, 13 touchdowns on the season to 14 picks. Those 14 picks, Jacob, are actually among the least in the league. He's 7th best coming into the week, but he's got to get that touchdown number up. Not really a team known for their throwing. Last in completions, almost last in pass attempts, but they really don't rush a lot either. I mean, they're not on the field offensively as much as they need to be.
Going to a pro set here, offset fullback in Joel Harlan, hand off to Chris Grant Jr., picks up 4 there on that carry. And Mike, it means that Indianapolis now have 3 different players on their roster that have eclipsed 500 receiving yards on the campaign. That puts Rob Hunt over the 500 threshold. They have De Niro and Jimmy Wint, who already hit that number last week.
Yeah, Jimmy Wint, number 2 in receiving. Oh, fumble.
Lost the football, and Florida have picked it up. That's not the way that the Ramblers wanted to start their opening position. The carry went to Joel Harleman. He coughed it up, and Florida get an early turnover.
Did you see the woman in the stands with green hair? Only in Florida. I love this place. I know that had nothing to do with the play, but that was what jumped out at me the most. But hey, here's Ron Cochran.
I knew when you stepped into this game, the amount of actual football commentary was going to be at a minimum tonight.
I don't know what you mean.
I just called the game with Anthony Ellison. This feels like a completely different script.
It might be. It might be.
9-yard run for Bullet Boletsky. Again, the leader of the backfield here between he and Chris Komisak. And Florida now find themselves already in Indianapolis territory.
Boletsky, very similar numbers to his counterpart, Chris Grant Jr. on the other side.
And off to the backup tailback here. And it'll be Komisak who gets that carry first down to do solid runs to begin proceedings here for Florida.
Komisak currently an all-star in the voting for the fullback position. 113 carries coming into the night, 426 yards. The average is almost 4 yards per carry. He's got 3 touchdowns, having himself a fantastic season.
Short drop back from Cochran, throw in between the numbers. It's the stat man, Ron Haynes, in between.
You know I love a good pass to a tight end, and Ron Haynes, he's been doing it a long time and doing it very well. Only 2 touchdowns on the season. Wonder if we'll see some more for him tonight. Cochran has been one of the most efficient quarterbacks, only behind Mexico City's Jordan Sipe. 61% completion percentage on the season. He did miss a few games, which might help his numbers as he's got less pass attempts than most other people, but still playing fantastic when he is on the field.
On the drop back from Cochran, a good protection up front, throws towards the end zone, and it's over the back. Indianapolis had a chance at that. They sent Comisac on a deep route.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Jacob? They got Stephen Bush, Caleb Givas, Art Vandelay, Ron Haynes, and what do? They throw it deep to the fullback.
He's had 13 catches for 101 yards on the campus. They're certainly not afraid to do that.
Usually it's out of the swing route.
You would think.
There you go. See, like that.
Throw to the backfield. That's Boletsky with that carry, and he'll get 4. Looks at a 3rd and medium.
The long handoff, they call it. Gets some nice yards, gets him in open space. That's where Boletsky can be the most dangerous.
Full wide here for Cochran. Drops back, got good blocking up front. Had pressure from behind. What a throw! Fires it into the back of the end zone, and Stephen Bush gets the opening score of the game.
His 2nd touchdown on the season, and it couldn't come at a better time for Florida at 5-5, number 2 in the division. Like I said at the beginning, Jacob, they've got to win out to have a shot at the playoffs, and even 7-5 might not be good enough, but they've got to take care of business here at home tonight against Indianapolis, and they strike first. It's critical when you get a turnover to get some points off of it. That's what makes all the difference. And currently Florida in the lead here 7-0 after scoring a touchdown on their opening drive after the pick.
It means they convert off the turnover. And it's crucial that Stephen Bush potentially steps up. I mean, it's hard to say that necessarily as a 15-season veteran. But Caleb Givas is inactive again tonight, which leaves them with 2 receivers and 2 tight ends to try and throw to. We've already seen Comisac be sent on a deep route as well to get someone else down the field.
Yeah,
more wrinkles in the game plan.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm interested to see how often we see Comisac heading deep down the field. See if he gets more deep passes. That was 76 touchdowns on the career now for Stephen Bush. He hit his 75th earlier on in the season, but over 12,000 receiving yards for Stephen Bush. Not a lot of people know that name either. It's not like he's a household name like DR Sim or some of those other, your Stephen Hackers of the world, but it's been around a long time getting it done.
Ethan Flowers trying to shake off the turnover from that last drive through across to Reggio De Niro. That's incomplete. We'll introduce this Indianapolis offense. Flowers, the quarterback, Grant Jr., and Andrew Gibson, the backs, Joel Harlan, the fullback, Rob Hunt, Reggio De Niro, and Bobby Tarantino, the receivers, Garadol Con, Jimmy Wint, and Nathalie Felicia, the 3 tight ends, Hadrian Marlowe, DeBrickshaw Molyneux, Jimmy Hayes, and then I'm not going to even try and pronounce Jake Molyneux's offensive line players on this play. That's incomplete there. I'll have a go at it. Jalarcus Mamarcus the 5th, and then Jamarcus Lamarcus the 17th. I know Jamarcus from Charleston days, but the former there, a new piece on this offensive line.
Yes.
Couldn't come up with a more stupid name for an offensive line.
Well, you said it. I'll just let that sit. 3rd and 10.
I thought Ocelotl was going to take that cake over in Mexico City, but
why you gotta go there? His name literally translates to Great Protector.
And that's incomplete. Throw across the middle is deflected away. So Florida with 2 early stops there, and they just feel like they're settled at home at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly look settled, and you know who looks the exact opposite? Rookie Ethan Flowers. He just looks rattled tonight, Jacob. I mean, he threw a pick on the opening possession in that first pass of this possession. He darn near threw a pick again. And, I mean, all of the passes have been contested by this Florida defense so far. He's looked completely out of sorts. He's got to get settled if he's going to get into this game and give the Ramblers a shot at a win here in Florida. Tough place to play here at the I.
Rick Evans ensuring that The elusive Vandalay couldn't get much on that punt return, but it's still golden field position here for Florida. A yard shy halfway is where they will start. Single back, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers down the bottom. Cochran will drop back. Deep throw, it's caught. Haynes has got a second.
Hashtag throw it to the tight end. Ron Haynes getting it done. Wily old vet himself. Hey, he's been around a long time too. Let's see, how many seasons has he been in? 6 seasons, all with Florida, much to my dismay. I've tried to recruit him to Mexico City more than once, and his price is just far too high, and he's got weird demands. Like, he wants his locker set up a certain way with like chocolates in it every single week. It's like, come on, man. Diva.
Toss play to the outside to Boletsky. That's going to lose a yard. We will introduce that Florida offense. Rock Cochran, the quarterback, raised a touchdown pass on the board. Boletsky, Chris Komisak, the back. Stephen Bush and Art Vanderlei, the receivers, again confirming Caleb Gifford is inactive for this game. But Rodney Smith is back in the fold. Ron Haynes, the other tight end. Randy Fatt, the third. Joseph Wade and Greg McDonaldson are the 3 contract offensive line. Cochran to throw. Oh, great grab there by Bush. He's now 2 for 2, and that was the more impressive of the 2. And he gets them into the SFL red zone.
Yeah, Stephen Bush, I mean, he's the number 3 receiving target when it comes to yards on the season. He came into tonight with 350, less than half of what Art Vandelay has, and certainly less than Ron Haynes with 457 yards himself. But there's the stats: 2 receptions, 37 yards, and a touchdown already. This could be a night to watch for Stephen Bush.
Just keeping Art Vanderlei quiet for the time being. Again in an ace trips formation down the bottom. Throw to the flats. Boletsky met at the line of scrimmage. Defensive response there from Indianapolis. Seeing that swing route a couple of times now, and King Jamal there on the spy. Got to that one.
Yeah, a couple of times tonight, but we've seen it a lot throughout the season. I've seen a few Florida games. They played Mexico City much earlier on in the season, and we saw that swing route a lot. It's really boom or bust for the Storm. Sometimes it works really well. Other times you see plays like that, and they go for a loss. There he is again.
The throw, got the first down. Bush for a 3rd time.
Bush is on fire tonight, Jacob. First down, a goal from the 9. Jermaine Menafield, another former Aztec, in on the coverage, but I mean, just excellent route by Bush, boxing out the defense.
Certainly going to have his hands full tonight, Jermaine Menafield. That matchup is starting to shape out here. 6 yards away from scoring. Hand off to Chris Komisak. He's going to have to get the leg drive going, but Indianapolis, the stronger in that department. Kenneth Gaston Jr. ensuring that's not a touchdown just yet.
I don't know if Komisak skipped leg day this week. It looked like he was running in slow motion there. Legs are just churning, but he wasn't going anywhere. Come on, you got to power through.
Saw a touchdown in the early game. Connor Weston certainly didn't skip leg day. I reckon he dragged 2 defenders 5 yards to get a score to keep that one alive. Here's the second carry on the goal line. That's Boletsky. He will get a little bit closer. Probably spotted about a yard out here. And you suspect this will go back to Komisak here on 3rd down and short.
I do think so, yeah. And it's, now we're talking incentive territory for this defensive line and the linebacker core. Mm-hmm. Who's going to win? Can Komisak punch it in, or is this defense going to earn some bucks?
Indianapolis in the goal line. Oh, they've stopped him once. Can they stop him again? And wide open, Chris Komisak. The blocking on that occasion was too good.
Yeah, not even close. Komisak just able to waltz right into the end zone, gets his 4th touchdown on the season, gives Florida a 2-score lead here early on at home. It's going to be a tall task for the Ramblers to try to get themselves back into this one, Jacob. We still got 3 minutes to go in this quarter, and they're looking up at the scoreboard. Extra point pending. It's going to be 14-0.
Casper Haddock saw what was happening there, but he didn't quite have the angle there on that occasion. And Komisak marches in untouched, and Florida take a 2-score lead in the opening quarter. And Indianapolis, some worrying signs early in this one.
Yeah, definitely. And Jesus Smith in the chat. He sees the touchdown and immediately says, "Do it again." I love it. That's what I like to see out of my offense, too. It's like, all right, we just scored. Now go do it again. Get even more points. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Jermaine Menafield, JW Hart, King Enderman. It's an antique accident. That's an interesting name. Robert Henson. I guess I'm glad to see him in the chat. Think outside the box. He's in just about every game. Jesus Smith, Jack Mann. And hey, Jacob, you're here too.
Indeed we are. We've got Ron Haynes and Tristan Hatley in with the numbers on the stat sheet for us. Hand off to Chris Grant Jr. His first 3 carries have been good. He gets 4. So you feel like the way that they can get back into this game here, he's on the ground. We know what Grant is capable of, and Gibson's sort of the big play threat when he checks in, which he will do so now.
Yeah, I just feel like Grant hasn't gotten enough opportunities, not only tonight, but on the season. I'd love to see them use him even more.
Gibson went straight into a Florida defender and didn't get much from it. Call it a 2-yard gain. That one shut down by Ryan Tobin, 15-season veteran.
I've been interested to see what Andrew Gibson would do on the season, converting from wide receiver to running back. So far, 84 carries, 300 yards. He's got a touchdown.
Flowers was pressured, tried to find Tarantino, and Bobby couldn't hang on to it. Flowers did well under the threat of the blitz there that came through, but it's all for nothing in the end, and Indianapolis, unfortunately, have to see.
Yeah, not rooting for either team, obviously, but I would have loved to have seen Indianapolis convert on that one. They had the receiver. You got to catch that. You know, you're a wide receiver. If it hits you in the hands, that's your job. Catch that ball, get that first down for your team, keep the drive alive, and instead, now trailing 14-0, Ron Cochran back with the football. Jacob, he's darn near perfect on the day. 7 of 8, 83 yards. He's got a touchdown pass. His rating is 149.5. And here he is in a 3 wide receiver set, ready to do it again.
It's all gone through Bush and Haynes to this point here. The ground game, though, still strong. Bullet Boletsky on the outside for a 4-yard pickup. Will introduce the defense for the Indianapolis Ramblers. Thomas Matthews, Seth Harrison, Rob Cherry, and Jack Big Boss at the defensive line. Frodo Lagans, Kenneth Gaston Jr., Casper Haddock, and Matthias Citron. The linebackers, Adam Knoll, Jermaine Menafield, King Rashid, Rick Evans, Ramnar Sudi, and King Jamal are the defensive backs. That run from Comisac, who's only going to get a couple, as the rookie Seth Harrison gets in there to make that one only a 2-yard gain. We'll see them go from a 3rd and medium here.
3rd and 4. I wouldn't even be upset to see him hand it off to Boletsky on his 4 carries. He's averaged 4 yards. He could pick it up here, but I have a feeling that they're probably going to go to the sky. Keep an eye on Art Vandelay here. He's the one in motion into the slot. We have not seen his number called yet.
Back by Cochran. He's overthrown that one. It was intended for Bush, but too much pepper on that one, and Indianapolis can breathe a little sigh of relief.
Yeah, you don't see Ron Cochran get a little overexcited like that all that often. 16-season vet. You know, he's been around a long time. He's usually cool as a cucumber back there, but old Riverboat Ron, as Matt Wilson liked to call him, sometimes he just slings it, and he just slung it a little too much that time.
Punt away by Marcus Agrippa.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, Indianapolis trusted the bounce, and they paid the price for it. He got an absolute beauty there as it just hit the spike of the ball and sailed out of bounds 1.5 yards away from the goal line.
Things just go from bad to worse for Indy. I mean, we haven't seen the team stats yet. We'll probably see them at the start of the second quarter, team stat comparison. But right now, I mean, offensively, Flowers has 23 yards through the air, and I think they have a collective 15 yards on the ground, backed up to their own 2.
And only Grant Jr. has got nowhere to go. And, I mean, from a Florida perspective, when you're paying Marcus Agrippa $2 million a season, that's the sort of plays you get as a result. He's brilliant at that Kaufman corner kick.
50-yard punt bouncing just inside the 2.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, all told. Receiver and Rob Hunt moved across to the other side. Handoff to Gibson, who can't get free. Another strong tackle there made early by Tobin. Introduced the rest of that Florida defense with all the 3rd down. Deontay Stoneville, Alessandro Tomiello, Landon Onham, and Pete Mitchell, the defensive line. Ryan Tobin, Jesus Smith, and High Mississippi, the linebackers. And there's Genkel, Ryan Davidson, Evan Carroll, Adam Jones, Daniel Wright, and Andrew Francis the defensive backfield. They will run it on third down and go absolutely nowhere. Chris Grant Jr. is shut down there by Pete Mitchell, and they will have to punt this one away, and Florida very likely to receive inside their own half.
Yeah, I would assume that they would. I mean, wow, Ness Gankle got in there too and just made sure that that play was going absolutely nowhere. Gained a grand total of 3 yards on that possession. It's just not going well here for Indy. You said on their own half, but look at this. Here they are at the 40. Wow.
Vanderlei got that one to the 40 off the tails punt, and now Indianapolis under yet more pressure here. A quarter down. Florida with a 2-score lead and possession. Aerial coverage provided by who exactly? It's Dags Droneworks. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Dags Droneworks, aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. Seemed like I saved you out of having to do your own ad read.
I appreciate that because it's always awkward doing that. So I think I'll just, you know what I should do? I should just have you record it, and then every time it loads, it's your voice doing the ad read and nobody else has to do it. There's our team stats comparison. Like we expected, Jacob, everything's been going Florida's way so far.
Unfortunately, it's very lopsided at the moment for Indianapolis. Send off for Comissac. Got 5 there on that carry. That feels like his best of the evening thus far. And they're just going to keep pushing Indianapolis backwards.
2nd down and 5. Yeah. I expect him to just keep to the ground. It's working.
It'll be Boletsky out there. He's got space. Ran straight into an Indianapolis defender who fortunately completed the tackle. It was Rick Evans there who got the stop, but it's all going Florida as well on the ground.
Boletsky's had a lot better seasons in past years than he has this season. You know, I mean, 25th in the league in carries, 29th in yards. This is not a statistically great year for Boletsky, but tonight everything's going his way. 5 carries, averaging almost 5 yards per.
Back up tailback there, and James Bettis gets a carry. He gets 4, and Boletsky won the MVP award in his 3rd season, made an All-Star as recently as season 21, which is the first of this era. Since then, it's really been a 1-2 tandem, which has kind of been to the detriment of his numbers, but to the benefit of Florida in general. And they brought Chris Comissac over 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And off Comissac went backwards and then went forwards. A couple extra, makes 3rd down. A short one, an opportunity for Indianapolis to get off the field again.
See if they're able to prevent Florida from getting some points. Up at their 20, they're in field goal range. They really need a turnover, something bad.
Cochran could throw here in this situation.
He's only thrown 12 picks on the season, 4th best in the league.
He's not one for a mistake, Ron Cochran. Don't want to jinx him here. Throws that one over the back. That's a great grab. Fires it in the direction of Ron Haynes. The Ron-to-Ron connection is certainly on again tonight.
3rd catch of the night for Ron Haynes, just shy of 50 yards. Sets him up with a 1st down and goal. Look at these updated stats from Ron Cochran. Quarterback rating's not perfect, and I don't know what else you got to do to make it perfect. He's only missed 2 passes on the night, Jacob.
That puts Ron Haynes over the 500-yard mark on the campaign as well. Drop back by Cochran, throw short. Wow. He'll run, much it in. Stephen Bush has a brace.
Stephen Bush, the 2nd touchdown of the night, and he only came into the night with 1 on the whole season. He's eclipsed that number already here early on in this one. Florida just running away with it.
Surprise! I did not know that Stephen Bush had that quiet of a season. Someone who has been in this league 15 seasons, all time, over 12,000 yards. Someone who just routinely posts 700-800 yard seasons. He's well short of that number, but turning it on here tonight, late in the campaign, where Florida really need a burst, and they are making a statement here as Indianapolis looking most dejected on the sideline at the moment. Ethan Flowers not sure what to really do in this situation. Not that he's done anything wrong per se, They just haven't gotten anything going, and when they've got given the ball away, they've been gashed on defense.
It's just, I don't know, perfect storm, no pun intended. Here for Florida. I mean, their opening drive, they throw the interception. Their second drive, he threw a pass right to who was it, Bobby Tarantino? It hit him in the hands. He dropped it. That would have kept that drive going, had to punt it away. On their third possession, they started inside their own 2, so they felt like they had to just run the ball. They just haven't had a good opportunity yet to get anything going. Starting on their own 25 here, let's see what they can do. They've got to get it going now.
And off we'll go to Grant Jr., who has swarmed again, that time for a loss of yardage. It's the first time we've said that tonight. It'll be Evan Carroll who will get credited with that tackle for loss.
Yeah, Evan Carroll, somebody who's, you talk about Stephen Bush having a lot of seasons in the league. Evan Carroll, 17 seasons in the league, all with Florida. He's been making plays like that since the dawn of time, it seems.
A good 40-odd seasons combined between the 3 corners on this roster.
I know.
It's quite handy, I'm sure. That throw from Flowers incomplete, and now it'll be a 3rd down and long.
This is what they've been in all night long. Yeah, this is it. Let's see if they're able to convert. If they get they've got 4 receivers in the set here now. If they get somebody open and it hits them in the hands, they better catch that ball.
Bunch off to the right. Single receiver down the bottom. Drop back by Flowers. He's got good protection up front. He's got a world of time, and he's going to rush it. There was nothing open downfield. Ethan Flowers didn't throw it, and it's a 4-yard rush, nowhere near the required. And we'll see the punter again to send this one away for Indianapolis.
And I wish we could have seen downfield, if they'd showed a replay that showed a camera angle like this one. I would have loved to have seen what Ethan Flowers saw. 4 wide receivers. Somebody had to be open, Jacob. And a flag on the play on this one.
Yeah, there was return. Vanderlei was contacted before the ball got there. It was not even close. I don't even want to know if I want to watch the replay. It was.
Well, we don't have to. So,
I saw it straight away. I was like, "You're kidding."
Yeah.
And then he ran backwards to try and make out like he didn't do it. That was the best part about
it. He's like, "I didn't do nothing. Why are you throwing flags at me? I'm innocent." No, man. We saw.
Respect the hustle, nonetheless.
Oh yeah. Oh heck Florida.
Yeah. Straight to Boletsky, Rick Evans. He's been making plays, special teams wise. Yeah, but there gets the tackle. He was the one that got to the punt return second there.
Jermaine Menafield in the chat says, 3rd quarter got to be our time to come back. I love the optimism. They got to do something in the 2nd quarter, though. They got to, at minimum, stop the bleeding. I mean, a 3rd down and 1 here. If Florida picks up this 1st down, I don't know if they're going to even potentially stop them if they get points on this drive.
It's certainly looking that way, but Indianapolis an opportunity to get a stop here. Boletsky back in the backfield. Rodney Smith is the fullback. He will be motioned out to the side. Handoff straight up the middle. Boletsky got past 1 and a 2nd, and Boletsky will get the 1st.
Yeah. Boletsky doing Boletsky things. Florida with another 1st down. I don't think Indianapolis has a shot at stopping them. They're just on fire tonight. They can do no wrong, and Indy can do no right. That's been the story here in the 1st half.
Twins to the top. There's pressure showing on the edge there, but that backs away. He would get a swan dive, that outside linebacker, and there's plenty of room for Charlie Boletsky to cash in on that one.
I mean, it was an 8-yard pickup, and that's because he ran 8 yards before any Indy defender even touched him. They're just making it too easy for Florida.
Got to tighten up the middle of that defense now. Handoff to Komisak. Got outside. Was he short? He was. That's a good response. They're going to say that was worth about a yard. I mean, you call it 1.9.
Big 3rd and inches for this Indianapolis defense. They've got to try to get a stop. And only 4 on the line. Everybody else playing off.
They nearly got the result there. Good effort by Harrison to get inside, but he was too late. And that's the situation where you need some more support from your inside defensive tackles. It can't be on a defensive end to push inside and make that play. On his own, at least.
4 minutes to go here in the first half.
30 yards away from a score. Again, clean running forward. That was way too easy for the backup tailback to pick up a 7-yarder.
Good old James Bettis. He's not really known for his rushing stats here on the Florida offense, but tonight he's running through like it's nothing. And he's got to start putting up some resistance.
Up the gut, Comisac. That's better. Rick Evans again on that tackle. He's putting together some sort of a performance, but he needs some support. And 3rd down stop is huge here for Indianapolis, just to at least hold them to a field goal. No pressure again from Indianapolis, and it's an easy 1st down pickup for Bull Boletsky. I mean, they had linebackers there, and they just sent no one.
It's like Florida had an epiphany last week. Since week 5, they beat Nashville 23-0, but then they lost to Carolina, they lost to Lexington, they lost to Albuquerque, they lost to Fort Worth, and then they went to Arizona and beat them 31-0 in Arizona. And now they've put up 21 points and allowed 0. In these past 6 quarters, Jacob, they've scored 52. They've outscored their opponent 52-0. What happened? What happened in these last couple of weeks?
It's quite remarkable. Robert Cherry dragged Bettis back about 15 yards there, and it was still called 2nd and 10. And Haynes would have done well to have reeled that one in. Casper Haddock with the coverage. So now this is the best opportunity they've had yet to get the stop that they are after.
Yeah, Casper Haddock, a great linebacker, 6'6", makes it easy for him to just reach his giant hand up there in the passing lane, swat a pass down. Finally, Florida in a difficult situation, 3rd and 10.
They get the defense off the field here. They don't send any extra pressure. Cochran will throw straight to Bush. Wide open. 1st and goal.
Stephen Bush, he's having himself a night. 5 catches, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's trying to make himself a case for the Offensive Player of the Week.
Certainly going to be in conversation, that's for sure, certain. And already 70 yards odd. Pair of touchdowns. 2-minute warning. Indianapolis at threat of conceding once again in this opening half, and this really could be anything in the second half.
Florida only averaging 20.6 points per game on the season. They've already beat that number tonight.
Sharkers formation, head off to Comisac. That was way too easy. Chris Comisac absolutely powers his way into the end zone, and Florida are going to be up 28-0.
Gosh, that's a beautiful blimp. That's all I got for that one, Jacob. So tell me more about Weet-Bix.
I was like, how long is it before the football conversation ends and we just descend into delirium?
Right now, yeah, 2 minutes to go in the first half. That's about the limit, I think, in this one. 28-0. I mean, listen, I thought Florida looked great last week, beating Arizona 31-0. Or a field goal away from matching that total with more than a half to go here in this one. I didn't expect Indianapolis to win this game, in the picks that Gerald and I made in our, pregame show at the start of the week. We both picked Florida. I did not expect this.
No, and I mean, I don't think many people would have expected the Arizona score last week either. As prior to that, the defense had really been the issue for Florida, but they have absolutely blanked Indianapolis in this opening half. I know 2 minutes left. Can they get something going here for Ethan Flowers and these receivers? It's been in a very forgettable first half. It'll go to Chris Grant Jr. Some laundry on the play. He will break a tackle and run straight out of bounds.
And this has been the story of the night for Indianapolis. I mean, listen, it was only a 2-yard gain, but at least it was a gain. But no, never mind. 1st and 23, Jacob. You're not going to convert this. I don't want to be negative, but 1st and 23, that just killed the drive. But before the drive even has a chance to go, it's done. I'll put it this way. Ethan Flowers has 23 yards passing on the day so far. He's got to get that much just to get a first down.
It's his only completion out of 6 attempts thus far. That was the connection to Rob Hunt on the very first play of the game. Hand off to Grant. He's got plenty of room, making the most of that passive defense there from Florida, and gets about 12, so that cancels out the penalty at the very least.
It does. I mean, he at least got back the penalty yards. It makes it so that, it basically is like you only got a 1-yard loss on first down. So maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe the drive's not done. Minute 43 to go. They still have all 3 timeouts, but I think they're still going to play it a little bit conservative here, Jacob. Split backs now in the backfield.
2 receivers on either side of Flowers. Jimmy Went motioned across. He hasn't had a target yet in this game, the second leading receiver on this depth chart. And off straight at the middle to Gibson, who's nailed. 1-yard pickup there. Tobin was all over that one.
He just ran into a wall named Ryan Tobin. I mean, Tobin's a great linebacker. He's always making plays. The linebacking core for this team between Ryan Tobin, Jesus Smith, and Juan Mississippi. One of the most dynamic trios in the league. 48 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss for Tobin this season. Wow, there we go, a completion.
There's Bobby Tarantino. It's been a rough half for the former Florida player. Worth noting. Oh, my God.
All right, I deserve that.
That is gold. Someone screen cap that for later.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
I said what I said. Ryan Davidson, he's been picking off passes his whole career. Let's see, that's pick number 93 on his career, Jacob. He's one of the best all time. 93 picks, that's 5th best in the league. He's got 10 pick sixes on his career. And do you know who has 11? Do you know who has one more? Ryan Davidson's 2nd best all time in pick sixes. The guy who's ahead of him, Evan Carroll, in this same secondary. This secondary is just absolutely dynamic. Ryan Davidson gets it done again.
You just can't test him too many times. Cochran's gone. Sacked in the backfield. That's a result for Indianapolis' defense. Robert Cherry getting inside and finishing that one off.
I love to see the defense isn't done playing yet. Robert Cherry's got 3 sacks now on the season. He's got a couple tackles for a loss. Heck, at the DT spot, he's even got a pass deflection on the season. Looking up at the scoreboard, it seems like all is lost, but the defense is still playing. They don't want to see any more points out of Florida.
He had one of the most ridiculous interceptions you'll ever see a couple of seasons ago when he was in a Charleston uniform. That throw is caught for a first down. Florida calling a timeout. They want to put more points on the board because apparently they have no respect for their opponent tonight.
Well, they know that they were up 31. Well, they won 31-0 against Arizona. Yeah. They're looking to get that same score line just here in the first half or more. About 7 yards away from field goal range already.
Makes you wonder where this has been all season. Cochran throws. Ooh. That's through a pair of hands. Yeah, it was in and out of the paws of King Jamal. Yeah, and there were about 4 Indianapolis defenders back there that could have had a shot at.
Yeah, his 9th pass deflection on the season. He almost had his 2nd pick. And that's what Indy needs. Indy needs a pick 6. Pick 6 would just turn things around for them. It would build some momentum on their side, motivate their team. They need something big. Oh, there!
Oh,
you got the pick.
You called it.
Go get the 6.
And this might go back.
Oh.
Adam Knowles almost going back the whole way. And it's the turnover that they needed.
Man, I almost earned the nickname Nostradamus. I was so close, Jacob. So close. I could do this analysis thing. See, I said they need a pick. The blocking was setting up. Who Who would have thought that the big guy would have had the speed to go get him?
I'll tell you what, if he broke that tackle, that was a real chance of happening, and I would have given it away at that point.
All right, so now Ethan Flowers needs to just sling it. Just sling it downfield. Someone's open down there somewhere.
Drop back for
There you
Flowers.
go.
Oh, he's got it, Rob Hunt. Well, there you go. Jano Bianchi on the chat says, finally a stroke of luck. Well, if you keep having Mike Daggs predict plays before they happen, this could be tied up in like 5 minutes.
Hey, I'm 2 for 2 now. Let's see what's going to happen on this one. Incomplete. Sorry, guys. That's just what I'm feeling.
3 wide, 1 tight end on the left-hand side. She's shown on the edge. Throws across and, well, Reggio Dinero, you can blame a certain analyst for your hands not hanging on to that football.
All right. Let's see a nice rollout play. Give him a little bit extra time by getting him out of the pocket, away from the pass rush. I formation's not what I was expecting to see. All right, just roll down to the bottom.
Man, Andrew Gibson in the chat, your best friend and then your worst enemy in like the space of 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I'm known for.
Flowers the throw. Rob Hunt can't hang on. Jarred free by one of those 3 experienced corners. This time it's Adam Jones.
You know my thoughts on that, Jacob. If it hits him in the hands, he's got to catch that ball. He had a nice one-handed catch earlier on, but lets that one fall down to the turf. 3rd and 10 now.
Oh, they're going to do a Joker's formation. What is going on in Indianapolis? Just heave it. Dinero moved up the top. Maybe it's all in this direction.
I was going to say one.
Parliament. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Sila Aldemir, but I don't think this is within her wheelhouse.
No, it's not. You know, and I was going to say they have that one timeout left. They'll just let this go to the half. With that one timeout, they could have thrown it 10 yards, called the timeout, and at least kicked a field goal. But no points for them here in the first half. All Florida in this one.
Florida, for the 2nd straight week, for 1.5 games where they have not conceded a point here. They are up 28 blot over Indianapolis. Mike, it was a one-sided affair in that first half. What does Indianapolis need to do to potentially make this look like it's a 28-point breeze?
Oh, they got to settle down. You know, Ethan Flowers has looked all out of sorts in this game. We talked about it earlier on. They've also had a stroke of bad luck with having the punt just pinned inside the 2-yard line. I mean, when they do start to get positive yards, there's been penalties. We saw a fair catch, kick interference penalty, Jacob. They got to clean it up, play good football, take care of it, settle down, and start getting some positive yards.
Before we get back to the second half, let's take a quick halftime break presented by Breaks GPT.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
An Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Breaking into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Breaks GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and more. Breaks GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community collectors on the Breaks GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner on the website breaksgpt.com. Short kickoff by Aldemir, returned by Stephen Bush, shut down at the 30-yard line.
Stephen Bush, player of the half, in my opinion, for Florida. 5 catches, 66 yards, a couple of touchdowns. You can see Cochran's last 10 pass attempts. I mean, he was doing great up until that pick. That's what Indy's defense needs to just keep doing. They got to get another turnover if they want to try to have a shot in this one. Pick 6 would be so huge.
It can turn around very quickly, but Paul Boletsky has made easy work of that 12-yard run. And that's not the way you start the half.
There's that green-haired girl again, Jacob. I don't know why she decided that green was her color. But yeah, Bolesky, 11 rushing attempts, 56 yards. He said he made easy work of that one. He's made easy work of the whole night. He's averaging 5.2 per carry. So you see his updated stats.
57 off 11. He leads the game in rushing yards. Surprises there. Falk on the carry on the outside. Look at the blocking again from Florida. 7 yards untouched.
Yeah, Bettis getting it done again. Again, he's not known for putting up the big numbers, but he's been able to do it tonight. He's been running with ease, just like Bolesky and Komisak. Komisak's the only one that's been bottled up at all, averaging just under 3 yards per carry on his 10 attempts, but he's got 2 touchdowns.
He's back out there in this Joker's formation. They like to pull out with Rodney Smith at the fullback spot. He'll get the carry on the outside. Indianapolis sends the house, and they get home there on that occasion. Any pressure up front provided by Matthias Citrion, and they'll be 2 yards shy of the first down. Indianapolis not really sending much pressure at all at this rushing attack. They're very conservative defensively this evening.
They've got to step it up right here. They need to get the ball back. They can't let Florida score. Oh,
again, they drop off,
out.
and Komisak is going to absolutely whack one of the corners there in Jermaine Manifield, and he will get that one upfield for a first down. It's one of his best carries of the evening. Well,
definitely. Yeah, he'd only been averaging, like I said, just under 3 yards per carry. That one puts him over that 3-yard average. So we see his updated numbers right there. But, I mean, 12 carries, 2 touchdowns. I don't care what the average is if you've put up 14 points for us.
Arizona's back to winning ways, seemingly, against Los Angeles. They're up 31-14 on the other side of the block with 8.5 left in that one. And this one projecting similarly in some respects as that carry. That's 5 yards. And Florida continue to take time off this clock, time that Indianapolis need if there are any chance of making something of this game. This time they send a couple and they get a result. That's what they've needed to do for the majority of this game, as Kenneth Gaston Jr. gets that tackle.
They're down in 5 now. Let's see what the defense can do. I think we're still on the edge of field goal range. Let's see, where are we on the field at 36? They can get a stop without allowing any more yards. They got a shot at preventing points.
They sent pressure. Bolesky on the outside. Did he get it?
That was an injury first.
Short. One of the Indianapolis players has gone down. It's King Jamal.
Yes, that hurts. I mean, like I said, perfect storm against Indianapolis tonight. Anything that can go wrong has gone wrong. Pretty sure he got the first down, too, and they lose King Jamal. We'll keep an eye out and see if he comes back into the ball game, and the refs do indeed credit him with the first down.
You got a shot there of Casper Haddock on the sideline. He just wants to go home at this point.
I think so.
7.5 minutes left in the third, and he's just done with it today.
Well, the season's lost, right? I mean, at the 3-7 record, you're not getting into the playoffs. They're probably already in the mode now of trying to get ready for season 25. It's never too soon to start getting ready for the next season and seeing what you're able to put together on the field. Playing the role of spoiler in this one, and it's just not going to happen. They haven't been able to get anything going in this ball game. Florida's been able to just pick them apart all night.
Sent pressure again, and that got home. There's another injury, seemingly. No, just 3rd and 5 there, as Bolesky gets a couple there on that swing route. They've gone better on this drive when they've sent those linebackers around the outside. They didn't do that at all in the first half. We'll see they've sent some pressure again here on this 3rd down and short. Cochran will throw for the first time on this drive. Throws, end zone, picked off! Indianapolis get another turnover. Jermaine Manifield.
Yeah, Manifield's been in the chat all night trying to keep his defense pumped up. Been saying, listen, we got to keep going. We got to keep getting this done. Got to get a turnover. What else did he say? Can make a comeback. Keep pushing, guys. Finally, he's able to make a play for his team. Picks off Ron Cochran in the end zone. Prevents points, which was critical. Now the offense has to get something going. Ethan Flowers, 3 of 11 on the night, Jacob. Only 50 yards and a pick.
Despite a down campaign for Indianapolis, Manifield is in that threshold for the All-Star voting. He leads the league in pass deflections. That's his 2nd interception of the season. Hand off to Chris Grant Jr. Breaks a tackle. Can he get through Francis? He's got 9 yards there on that carry.
That's the sort of running that Indianapolis was hoping to see from Chris Grant Jr. when they signed him in free agency. You know, Chris Grant Jr. had always been kind of in the shadow of Dwayne Salmons over in Louisiana. Got the opportunity here to be the lead back. Indy, they want that first down. I thought it was a good spot, putting him a yard shy, but let's see the replay on this one.
And Walters is like, to hell with this. I want a result for once tonight. And we're going to get a retroactive look at this play. Brought to you by a retro play. SFL on the go. At your console at goretro.com. That looked like he may have actually got that on second look.
I think you might be right. Yeah, that I mean, his knees, the ball's right on the line. I guess it could go either way. We'll see what the ref has to say about it. They do overturn it, but do they overturn it enough? And no, they overturn it. Yeah, they're like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, you were close, but not that close. 2nd and inches. And that's just how it's been going for Indy. Look at the line, Jacob.
Oh my God.
The line to gain is behind. That may as well be green. It's overlaid.
They're going to cite the game under the code of conduct for bullying by the end of this one.
Where's Ashley Jackson? Oh, she's playing
bullying
right now.
Harassment. She's playing in the other game. She will have no idea. That's a good run there.
She's got no idea what's going on. The bullying and the harassment in this one. But Junior's able to pick up the first down and keep a drive going here for Indy. It's good to see some positive momentum for them now.
He got one back on Ryan Tobin, who's had his number in the opening half. Knocked him over there in that run. Gibson in the backfield now. He'll get the handoff on the right-hand side, and Andrew Francis responds. It'll only be a 1-yard gain.
They've just been sticking to the ground so far in this this drive. We haven't seen a pass out of Ethan Flowers since late in the second quarter. Here we are midway through the third.
So wide up the top 2 tight ends in the line. Fan the lineman out here from Florida. Hand up on the outside. Grant got past one, ran straight at Carroll.
Wow.
And leg drive from Chris Grant Jr. to get the first down.
Yeah, he didn't skip leg day, not like Chris Komisak did on the other side. He's just pushing through. And, you know, it's a rare thing to see a corner like Evan Carroll. He's only a $195, 6'2", but, I mean, he just got dragged along, got taken for a ride, getting the first down. Look at him approaching midfield here.
Andrew Gibson cheering on his teammate the chant. Let's see if he can get something going here. That's a better run. Gets 4 on the ground there. So Indianapolis, despite the deficit, sticking with the ground attack, and to this point, it's worked.
It has. I mean, you know, that's five straight runs on this possession, 6 straight runs for them offensively. Is like I said, we haven't seen a pass out of Flowers for a long time, but if that's what's getting it done, it's definitely working. But here we go, Flowers through the air.
He will throw. Has an option on the outside. That was well covered by the outside linebacker there in Mississippi, who prevented the tight end there from getting a reception. It's one of the 3 on this roster. That was Felicia with the target.
Hit him in the hands, Jacob. You got to catch it.
He hasn't done a whole lot wrong tonight, Flowers. He's had a lot of drop ball downfield. Throws this one. That's incomplete. That one was a bit more difficult for Bobby Tarantino.
For sure.
Carroll with the hit.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a big problem right there, too. The third down efficiency. I mean, Indianapolis only 1 of 7. Florida, meanwhile, has converted almost all of them. 9 of 11. You know, Florida's been able to do almost no wrong, and here we are, you know, 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. They're about to hit their 7th consecutive quarter of allowing no points. In fact, Jacob, the last time they allowed points was with 4 minutes left to go in their game against Fort Worth. It was, and let's see, when was that game? That game was back in week 12. So not since 4 minutes to go in the ball game in week 12 have they allowed a score. That one was an 80-yard touchdown pass to Henry McGee. He just broke away from the defense, flew down the field, got into the end zone, and at that point, Florida's like, all right, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of letting points go in. and we're just going to stop allowing teams to score, and we're just going to run all over them and put up over 50 points combined between the next 2 games. 28-0 in this one. There's still 14 minutes to go in the ball game.
It's 5-yard carry for Boletsky. It's important because, again, they're chasing that 7-5 record, but they've got to host Baltimore next week, who put up a statement win against the DC Dragons earlier tonight. The defense is going to be the key to that matchup, as it was tonight. The Dragons really pulled off a win because of their defensive efforts.
They did.
Baltimore hung on to a 23-20 lead.
Yeah.
King Jamal back out there makes that tackle.
And Baltimore now 9-2 on the season. They're going to be one of the top 2 teams when you look at the playoff standings. One of only 2 teams remaining, along with Washington, with only 2 losses. So those are going to be your number 1 and your number 2. I don't know which spot which one will fall into, but that's for the commish to sort out for us.
Ken Gaston Jr. lit up Boletsky there. He's made some plays when they've actually got him involved and sent him at the offensive line. He's produced and has gotten another stop for this defense. So it's certainly been a better half from Indianapolis defensively to start off things. They've had the turnover and now a stop on the second possession. Booming punt from Agrippa. This one up past the 30 on the return. Indianapolis gets another shot.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great job for the Indianapolis defense to get that stop. You know, I mean, they had a good possession going before they gave the ball back to Florida. See what they can get going here. I'd love to see that get taken off the board, see them get some points, try to build some momentum, see what they can do.
Drop back, that's incomplete. Flowers, not sure who he was targeting there. It was Rob Hunt who was highlighted, but that was a dodgy throw.
It was indeed. I mean, it was kind of a Hunt's feet. Again, Flowers just looking completely unsettled. The raucous crowd here, people green hair, that's just freaking him out too. You know, he just looks unsettled here in Fort Lauderdale. It's a wild place, man. The nightlife is crazy. It's nighttime right now. It's a tough place to play down here in Fort Lauderdale.
What does green hair have to do with it?
It's because she's just wild, and you know it. Just screaming and stuff from the stands.
That's probably why the camera keeps going there. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. It's that clearly one of the cameraman's favorite fans out there in the crowd.
Short throw, that's intercepted.
Wow.
Ryan Davidson's now got one, so both the outside corners have got an interception. And Florida, their night continues to get better.
Green-haired lady still excited. Second interception on the night for Ryan Davidson. Like we said, he's one of the best all time, as he's been picking off passes for longer than a lot of people have even been in the lead. Jacob, as he's just been feasting for this defense tonight. He came into the night leading the team in picks with 4, and he's already added on a couple more. Actually, he was tied with Daniel Wright, who also has 4, but now leading the team with 6. Here goes Florida once again.
Boletsky, 5-yard run. Continues his strong afternoon here, and Florida chasing yet another score.
Ron Cochran with his 2 interceptions that he's thrown. He's actually completed almost as many passes to Indianapolis players as Ethan Flowers has. Ethan Flowers still with only 3 completions on the night.
That's horrible.
I know.
Really
sorry. I'm sorry. Don't let me be an analyst. I don't know who allowed this. This isn't my job. This isn't what I do. I'm winging it right now.
Yeah, the way I've been taught in the professional sense is that the play-by-play, you have to be completely unbiased. But if you are an analyst, you can really rub the salt in the wound, and you can say pretty much whatever you want.
Listen, Matt Wilson was my analyst for how long? Look, another good stop by Indy's defense, but now we're going to see the first field goal of the night for Ethan Sneed, and he's had himself a heck of a season. 15 of 16 on the season. He rarely misses. As long as 48, this one's going to be from 43. But Matt Wilson was my analyst for many years before he passed away far too soon. And he was just brutal. And that's where I learned it from. He would tell it like it was, well, is this kick going to make it? No, wide right. Wow. See, that's what happens for me talking about Matt Wilson. Wide right haunted him from his beloved Buffalo Bills, losing the Super Bowl for a wide right kick, and that's the ghost of Matt Wilson right there speaking to us, Jacob. I mean, you don't even know where to go with that. You're just like, what? Okay.
Wood is moving swiftly onwards.
Yeah, we'll just go on past that.
Too wide here for Indianapolis. Can they get something going tonight? And off to Chris Grant Jr. That's a 2-yard gain. I mean, you worked with Matt obviously for a long time, and then you picked up Gerald.
Who's also a bully.
Seasons ago.
He's arguably more of a bully. I was just going to say, I think Gerald honestly is worse because Matt would at least just stick to facts, like the one that I just said. Where let's see, can he think? Oh, nope, still sticking to the 3 completions. So like Matt would have absolutely pointed out the whole Ron Cochran's completed almost as many passes to Indy receivers as Ethan Flowers has. Because that's just factual, and Matt would say things that were facts because at least that way, if somebody said you're being a bully, he could say, "Listen, I'm just reading the numbers." Gerald just throws out like shade, just to throw out shade, especially to people like Eddie Gage. He just loves being mean to Eddie. There's just certain people. He's like, Atlanta. It's a franchise. He's constantly hating on them. There you go.
There we go.
Play.
Inside the 30. Finally, Jimmy Winter sighting.
First completion of the night. That was his 3rd target that went his way, and finally he's able to haul one in for a big gain. 39 yards on that one, Jacob.
That's a plus for Ethan Flowers and what's been a tough evening. He's going to get a chance here on the precipice of the SFL red zone to get a score on the ball for Indianapolis and prevent a shutout. Indianapolis trying to prevent a duck egg on the board this season. Florida trying to post their 2nd in 2 weeks on the defensive column.
7 quarters down with no score allowed by this Florida defense. Indiana drive, though. See if they can capitalize on it, Jacob.
Too wide. They're going to motion the receiver down the bottom. It's Rob Hunt, who's had the 1 catch today. And off that side, Grant Jr. He's dumped behind the backfield. Yeah, I can imagine. Ryan Tobin again, all over that one.
Yeah, Tobin leading the day on tackles. He's got 3 tackles and an assist. It's also got a pass deflection to his name. Feels like he's actually done a whole lot more than that, but the whole defense has just been a complete menace.
Throw, that's caught. Call it a 7-yard gain for Rob Hunt.
Weird spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he got the 1st, and they marked him 3rd and 2. I don't know if they're going to give him first down yardage on the replay, but it certainly was better than a 3rd and 2.
Ashley Jackson's going to have a 15-page report on her desk by Monday morning.
I think I might file one. I feel uncomfortable.
I don't know if he got the 1st, but 3rd and 2 is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's a half yard. Yeah, he definitely didn't get the 1st down. But it's 3rd and inches. Yeah, it's overturned, of course. But yeah, well, okay, he's upset. I guess he must have thought that he was going to get the 1st. I didn't, but 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches, I would have been okay with either one of those. Can they convert it? And if they don't, Jacob, do they settle for the field goal? There's Flowers' updated numbers.
I don't think you can, really, in this situation. You want to keep going, but I'll give you a stat after this play, depending on its outcome. Hand off on the outside. Grant Jr., 1st down. They keep it going. Yeah, Indianapolis has never been shut out in their franchise history. The lowest score they've ever had was when they were blanketed by Minnesota in Week 7 of last season. That one ended 31-3. But bar that, they've never finished a game with 0 points. They'll want to come away with some now. Flowers to the flats. It's caught by Gibson, and he will get 4. Shut down there by the outside linebacker in Mississippi, prevent a touchdown.
I thought that was their best chance to score right there. I wanted to see Gibson do some sort of move or something, get into the end zone. The second half really has been Indianapolis's game. Look at their yards compared to Florida. Neither team has scored any points. Can Indy get it done?
Joel Harleman all the way home. Punches it in.
Harleman has had a quiet night so far, Jacob, until now. His third carry of the day, good for 7 yards and a score. I don't think they even need to challenge that one. That one's just going to be called by the refs, which is good because I don't know how many more challenges they can make, especially because both of the challenges they've made so far, they've been awarded the challenge, but then been disappointed by the result. It's like, come on, man. But Florida finally surrendering some points. In Indianapolis, they're outscoring Florida in the second half, 7-0 so far, but only 8.5 to go. If they don't get a pick, or maybe even that pick six we talked about, I'm not sure they can get back into this one. But great to see them get some points on the board. They won't get shut out in this one.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the 28-point breeze that we thought was a chance of happening. That third quarter going scoreless was certainly rough for Indianapolis, but some positives now to take out of this one, given the fact that they, to this point, haven't conceded in the second half and have scored on a drive there that resulted in a pretty flashy touchdown run from their fullback, who gave me absolute nightmares in week 1 of the season. He ran for 100+ against Charleston in week 1 of the season, and then he's been pretty quiet since then, but a piece that I'm sure they're very glad to have over there in Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's good to see him get a touchdown there. He's able to get some points on the board, but now the onus goes all back on the shoulders of this defense. They've played a good second half. They've gotten some interceptions. You've got both Adam Nold and Jermaine Menefield with picks, but they've got to stop that guy, Bullet Boletsky, 17 carries, 80 yards. He's just getting it done too easily on the ground. They've got to tighten up.
And off to Kolasak. So much room for him once he got past that first wave of contact, and he'll pick up a first down.
Yeah, room for days, and that's, look at the players on the Indy sideline just looking beside themselves. But this is why. Good blocking set up, just able to sneak through, get good yards. You expect to see Bullet Boletsky and Chris Kolasak have a good day on the ground. You really don't expect to see James Bettis getting it done, but he has been too. Fortunately for Florida, he's on the pine right now. Boletsky back out onto the field. I'm sure they'll just stick to the ground and see what he's able to do for him.
Gaston showing pressure on the edge again. That's been a bright spot for them this evening. Tight end moved across to the other side of the formation. Run from Boletsky. Haddock got him right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Casper Haddock says, I've seen enough of you gaining yards. I've seen enough of you scoring. I am done. JW Hart in the chat says, no quit out there. IDGAF. I don't know what that stands for. Who we are facing or what the score is, they're not going to quit. And I love to see it.
You know what that stands for.
No, I have no clue. Would you want to explain it to me?
$5 that you said it in pre-game already.
Oh, I did?
Probably. Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty confident. That's incomplete.
Yeah, rare miss by Cochran. I think he was targeting
game today.
Yeah, I think he was targeting Ron Haynes on that one. Haynes couldn't haul it in.
Secondary. Third down and long. Indianapolis could get a stop here, and turnover could make things interesting. Yeah. You just never know.
Ready for it.
Cochran drop back deep. It's over the top. There was no one there. Stephen Bush has a hat trick.
He does have a hat trick indeed. After a relatively quiet season, he has had a monster game. He's over 100 yards on the day, Jacobs, on only 6 catches, 3 touchdowns, 57 yards to the house. And that just dashes any hopes that Indianapolis had of trying to get back into this one. I don't know how they let him get so open. There wasn't a Rambler defender in the camera shot after he caught the ball. And that's the final nail in the coffin. 6:43 to go in the ball game. But Stephen Bush, 124 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. Have a day, Mr. Bush. You're going to get your team to 6-5.
puts him closer to the 500-yard mark on the season. We've been talking about a few times tonight, but he's usually one to post a few more than that on a campaign, being the sort of second option on this elite Florida style offense. But it's more so been about the ground game and Ron Haynes siphoning targets like there's no tomorrow.
Mark Lopez has explained to me that IDGAF stands for I drink good alcohol, Father.
I suppose that's one way of going about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's not what I thought it meant.
Twins to the right-hand side. My God. It's gone.
So Wheat Bix.
Chris Grant Jr. means more of it.
Listen, just explain to me while we're both here chatting, what is Vegemite made out of?
We've gone over this before. It's a yeast extract.
Yeah, but how do you what do you extract from yeast? Like, there's nothing extractable from yeast. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I think from memory it comes from like beer hops, and then they get the yeast out of that. I don't know what they do with it. It's magic. But it's good
not
stuff.
magic. It's just a factory in Australia where just magic happens and Vegemite comes out in little cans. It's not a thing. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's God's gift to our population.
I thought that was koalas.
Oh, he's over the top, man. Jimmy Wade, I would have loved if he pulled that off. Ethan Flowers again with another nice deep threat, but it's incomplete.
Andy's offense just not in the game tonight. They just haven't been able to get anything going, and I think that's one of the things that this offense will need to work on as they prepare for season 25. They've had a lot of opportunities to keep drives going. They've had open receivers, Jacob, and that's the thing that's been, just painful for them. They've had open receivers. They've had those passes hit those receivers in the hands, and they've just been unable to haul it in for whatever reason. Certainly some of them have not been their fault. We've seen some really hard hits. I know there was one pass a few drives ago where they would have been able to convert on a third down if Bobby Tarantino had been able to haul it in, but as he made the catch, he got absolutely laid out. So, maybe try to get some routes in there where it just gets your receivers open in a little bit more space. They've just been trying to chuck it downfield. Granted, they're down by 28 points. They got to chuck it downfield, but the receivers have had a tough night.
Boletsky, what a move. Got past one. Haddock again there to get the stop, though. And I'll look to ice this one here. They got the go-ahead score there to hit Stephen Bush in stride. He quadrupled his touchdown total on the season in one game. Can you believe it?
Sure did. Like we said, he had a relatively quiet season. Even Caleb Giffis, who's not even active, had 2 touchdowns on the season. And now Bush eclipsed that number. He was tied with Boletsky in receiving touchdowns. And, obviously beat that too. Heck, Ron Haynes had more touchdowns than Stephen Bush. Now he's doubled Ron Haynes' touchdown output.
It's like, I'll take that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a receiver. I'm supposed to be getting this. But this guy right here, I know he hasn't scored any of the touchdowns here for Florida tonight, but he's kept the drives going. This has been the difference in this one, is just the output of Bullet Boletsky. I hope we see his updated stat line on the screen, but he's averaging almost 5 yards per carry. That's been the difference.
I give credit as well. Rodney Smith back in the fold this week. Was inactive a week ago. Gets back in this week, and it just gives them that extra run support in this formation as well, because you see him lined up there at the fullback spot. It just helps having that extra run blocking up front. Comasack pursued by Citriani, got him from behind.
Still looks like he's running in slow motion, but he's getting it done. He's got 2 touchdowns on the ground. He's averaging about 3 yards per carry. Picked up 3 right there inside 4 minutes to go in the game.
Jack's formation again here. Let's this time in behind Rodney Smith. Haynes moved across in motion. And Boletsky running from behind, got taken by Thomas Matthews from behind there, only 3 yards shy of the first down.
Jacob, I just can't help it. I love being a play-by-play guy, and I got to do an ad read. Week 14 of the SFL Season 24 continues on Sunday, headlined by a battle of two top teams in the SFL. The 6-4 Sin City Samurai and the 6-4 Carolina Skyhawks at 9 p.m. Eastern. Other matchups include Charleston, Nashville, Chicago, Queen City, and Oklahoma City, Denver, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, all right here on the Virtual Football Network. All right, you can take back over again.
How good is it though? Charleston football on a Sunday. A run up the right-hand side. Comissac gets the first down. They can continue to wind this one down.
How you feeling about that game? Nashville just coming off their first win on the season. You're visiting them in Tennessee. You guys feel ready?
It'd be nice to finish the season off with a win. They got a big win themselves a week ago to wipe that 0 off their record. It's going to be a big off-season, but you've got to finish it off on the right foot. We were disappointing to have lost to Minnesota when we held quite firm with them, but it'd be nice to get to another win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've heard me talk about Charleston many times in our pregame show. I felt like Charleston, the record has not reflected what you guys are doing talent-wise, and just some bad breaks along the way. But I'm excited to see what you guys can do next season.
As will be the case with this Indianapolis side, who has gone down tonight. But again, positive signs. They've got a strong coaching room, ownership group that's in its first season in Rob Cherry, and plenty of talent existing on the roster that will have had some time to grow this season and in forthcoming off season. That's a run from Comissac. He got through Evans and then was met 8 yards past the line of scrimmage. It's Florida's night, and it means that Florida-Baltimore game, Mike, when you're doing a broadcast schedule, be paying careful attention to who you put on that game, because that's going to be one of the key matchups of the weekend, as will, I guess, most of the Week 15 games anyway. But with the way that Florida are heading in with a full head of steam, that's going to be a tough game.
It is. I agree. I mean, they're going to be 6-5. Baltimore, of course, 9-2, but the record simply doesn't matter at that point, Jacob. I mean, these two teams, both of them between Florida and Baltimore, historical powerhouses, but also this season, these past 3 weeks, I think you got to look at Florida and ignore the fact that they had that stretch of losing games. Just look at these past 2 weeks and how dominant they have been, and they could definitely give Baltimore a run for their money. I'm excited to see that one. And where is that game? That one's here in Florida. So that Florida's going to remain home in Week 15, finish out the season in front of this crowd. I'm sure the lovely lady with green hair will be back, and she'll still have green hair. Maybe she'll change the hair color. I don't know. I'm excited to see it.
Oh my God.
You're like, why did I accept this role? Listen, I didn't make her dye her hair green. I'm just commenting on it. I don't see is my job not to analyze the game?
Yeah.
That's part of the game. The cameraman keeps pointing the camera at her. What am I supposed to ignore it?
I can't argue with that point.
I didn't dye her hair. She did it. We're in Fort Lauderdale. Have you ever been to Fort Lauderdale before? Obviously, this lovely game this evening.
I haven't set foot in the mainland of the U.S. physically.
Yeah.
I've called Florida games, no doubt about that.
Sure.
But,
yeah. It's a wild place. I've been there once, and it frightened me. But South Florida is just a special place in general.
So I've got a few teammates that live down in that region, and this, I believe, is Robert Cherry's current place of residence as well. He's a Florida native himself. Indianapolis will travel to Chicago for one more next week, but Ethan Sneed trying to wipe that 0. He missed his first. Granted, that was from a whole 20 yards further out.
Yeah, chip shot here. This should be an easy make as Florida's about to put up 38 points. Oof. He hooks it left.
Strong, that one.
Just making it interesting. Yeah. Blew it back through, so now he's 10 of 12 on the, he's 16 of 18 on the season now is Ethan Sneed. 38-7 in this one.
And for Indianapolis, the positive is the second half has resulted in 10-7. And after that first half, it could have been significantly worse. I mean, we're looking at a 50-point blowout at halftime. It hasn't quite gotten to that. And they've also avoided their first shutout in franchise history. I mean, 5 seasons and not posting a single duck egg, that's not a bad effort all told. But tonight's a very forgettable night for the Ramblers. Bunch of formation to the right-hand side. Does Ethan Flowers have one more trick up his sleeve? Drop back, no pressure on him. Throws in between the numbers. Great deflection there. Adam Jones continues to have a strong. These 3 corners have really taken away the second half.
Stephen Bush, the man of the hour. One last camera shot of him. You know, his stat line just very impressive tonight. We've already mentioned it a few times, his quiet season that he's had, but 6 receptions, 123 yards, 3 touchdowns, far and away the player of the game. But Bullet Bolesky, an honorable mention, 23 rushing attempts, 115 yards. He averaged 5 yards per carry on 23 attempts. That's the icing on the cake, a pick 6. Florida's now put up more points in this one than they have in any other game this season, Jacob, and they just beat the over-under by themselves.
Well, I mean, what can you say? Nez Gankel, first career interception. It's a pick 6, and that's the final nail in the coffin. If it weren't half an hour earlier for Indianapolis, it's well and truly over now. That is just the ice pick to the heart. Again, this game has just bullied them today.
It's just been absolutely brutal. I mean, Nez Gankel, the rookie, has had a quiet season so far. He hasn't been involved in a whole lot of action, but 15 tackles. He actually got a sack earlier on in the season and a tackle for a loss. He's had a couple of pass deflections, but like you mentioned, that was his first career interception, and he takes it right to the house. Eddie Gage watching that, thinking, wow, all those picks that I had, well over 100 on my career, and none of them could go to the house. Nez Gankel says, I'm just going to do it on my first try. Love to see that.
And to top it all off, Indianapolis are going to have one more play here to see it out. Fresh off the back of Ethan Flowers, just throwing an interception back the other way. He just wants to go home.
He does.
And Janobi Hartshorn is like, nope, we're going to do the Hail Mary. Here we go.
One final play, pending any defensive penalty.
Sends it into coverage. It's incomplete. And that'll do it here. Indianapolis. It's a night to forget, but Florida, a statement win over the last 2 weeks. They've won 76-7. And if there ever a way to get back into a season and push for the playoffs, it doesn't really get much better than that. They won this one 45-7 over the Indianapolis Ramblers. Mike Daggs, what's the weekend looking like for Florida as they get prepared for the Vultures next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should enjoy this win, take tomorrow off. Victory Sunday, right? Watch some Charleston football that we'll have tomorrow afternoon. But they've got a big game coming up to close out the season against 9-2 Baltimore right here at home. It's going to be a big one, but like you just said, they've been outscoring their opponents these past couple weeks. It looks like they finally got some things turned around. I'm so excited to see that game. It's going to be a huge one next week for them.
We've got 4 more games for you tomorrow, and then, of course, it'll finish off, as we mentioned, with that headliner between Sin City and Carolina. We'll see you then on the Virtual Football Network.